Today I'm back in Lytham. I'm not by myself. I'm waiting on the arrival of fellow photographer and vlogger Tim Day. He's had a bit of a longer trip than me and he's not here yet, and he's told me to look out for his old banger of a car. So I'm looking and I'm waiting, but I'm also enjoying this view whilst I can as well. It was horrible this morning, throwing it down, but the weather's lifted slightly, so hopefully we'll both be in for a little bit of good photography today. Let's see if we can find him. I think the plan for today is, you might be able to see the jetty behind me, Lytham Jetty. We both saw that on the internet and discussed it, and we both want to get a shot of that. So a nice long exposure, possibly in black and white because the weather's a bit pants. And then we might head up the coast slightly to St Anne's and then maybe to Blackpool as well. So I'm not looking for loads of shots today, I'm just hoping for a couple of good ones really. The weather's doing a lot better than I hoped, so let's hope and pray that it holds out as well. Well, I think that Tim is finally here, just walking in behind me there. So this will be nice. Plus, there was a photographer on the jetty. I think he was a photographer, and he's just come off it as well. Perfect timing. As you can see, I've just met up with Tim and we've come down the Lytham Jetty just to see what it's like, and there's a nice bit of moss on either side of it, and there's I think it's called an out marker, is it, at the end? So I think we're both going to have a shot at this. Could make for a really interesting picture. So with that tide coming in, the long exposure might be quite nice as it's lapping towards us a little bit. So let's see what we can do. So I've just taken a test shot with my 18-55mm lens. Looks nice. The 2-second one kept a little bit of movement still on the water, which was just hitting the jetty, but the tide is coming in pretty quick. This bit of what is it called, driftwood, was exposed when we first got here maybe 5 minutes ago, so the tide's coming in really quickly. Wind's picking up, the jetty's a bit slippy, so we might have to grab another shot quickly and head back a little bit. So I've just got another couple of shots with various lenses. I won't get into the technical side of things, but they all look quite nice. I'm not convinced by any of them yet, but hopefully we've got a couple more locations to go to. Hopefully one of those will really get me. I think they will be converted to black and white probably, because the colour's just not very good today in the sky, and the sea's just, it's not blue, definitely not blue, it's like browny and horrible. There was a nice bit of foam on the right hand side, on that side of the pier, where the water was sort of lapping around it, which was quite nice, and I liked sort of retaining a bit of the movement within the water as well as flattening it out completely smooth with a long exposure as well. So if any of them were any good, here they are. I've just taken one more shot. I think it's probably going to be my last shot here at this location anyway. And I've just shot across where the sea is hitting this grass verge. You can see it over here. And it's just, I've made sure everything's really pin sharp, every blade of grass is sticking up. So I've shot 1,000th of a second. It might be a little bit too dark, but to me it looked like the sky was coming out a little bit more with that darkness. But the contrast of the sea hitting these individual blades of grass looks lovely. And also there's a bit of background interest with some markers sticking out the sea as well. So I'm not convinced by it. It's definitely not going to be an award-winning picture or anything like that. But if it's any good, here we go. So the tide is definitely taking over this jetty now. I think we're going to have to retreat, maybe go for a coffee or move on to the next location. But look at this, the sun's even coming out for us as well. And look at these views around me. Beautiful, fantastic. Really happy, hopefully some really good shots. Let's move on. Well, on the way to Blackpool, guess where we've stopped? We've stopped at Lytham St Anne's, a place where me and Tim have both had massive failures, failed blogs, issues trying to shoot that old pier or water break, whatever it is. But we thought as we were passing, it would probably be a bit rude not to stop in and say hello. Whilst the tide's still coming in, and we probably will have to retreat a little bit, it might make for an interesting subject, surrounded by water. So let's have a look, shall we? I'm glad we stopped. We weren't going to, but why wouldn't you? Beach, sea, sun's coming out, a fellow photographer, messing about trying to get some good pictures. Life's good. So let's get back in the car. Let's get a drink first, get back in the car and head to St Mary's Shell, which is very, very, very well photographed. But I think we both want our own version. So we've got to our last location, which is Cleveleys, and this shell, which is a hell of a lot bigger in real life. I was expecting it to be quite small, but it's huge. So what I'm doing, I'm set up and I'm setting off some long exposures. I haven't got much time left now. I think Tim's going to stay for a little bit longer. I need to get back. However, I'm going to try and get what I can of this shell because, as I say, it is a very, very well photographed subject. However, I want to get my own take on it really, so I'm going to have a look for the best position on these steps and try and capture that to the best that I can. So I'm just taking some more lovely long exposures of the shell before I head off. I really need to get on my bike in a minute. But I think there's another shot here somewhere. As Tim was saying, these waves are lapping up onto the steps. Could be something there if I got the wide angle lens out, or if I reposition myself for a different angle of the shell itself. I don't know, I'll see what I can do. But these long exposures, around 2 minutes with the 10 stop on, they're looking great. I've just moved my position slightly before I head off. Before I was shooting slightly at an angle to the shell itself, but now I've moved, so I'm shooting into it. The long exposures are lovely. We're both getting some lovely images. I'm finding it a little bit hard to get my head around the fact that it's such a well photographed subject, but I am enjoying it, and the images I'm getting are lovely, and I'm really happy with them. So a very good end to the day. I'm running the images for about 2 minutes, and they look great. Very ghostly around the base where the water is very smoothed out. You wouldn't think you'd be able to smooth this out because it's so choppy. I think there's another shot here where you can get the waves incorporated into it as well. But it's great. What an end to the day. Even in grey, cloudy conditions, you can get an image that you're happy with, and I've got some today. That's it for me from this location. I'm going to head home now. I'm just setting off one last image of the shell as the beach is coming into play a little bit, so the tide's lowering, so there's a little bit more of the shell that you can see. I've also come down these steps a little bit because you can see the horizon drops, obviously, So the horizon's cutting through the shell in the middle with the water lapping round underneath. But thank you for watching. I'll put a link up for Tim's video here. Please go and watch that. And also please subscribe if you haven't done already. If you have done, I thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please like the video, and any comments I will reply to as well. So thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.